Every time I see her demanding to be called Duchess of Sussex, I laugh. Nobody in Britain calls her that. It's Meghan Markle. You know, she got lucky, met her prince, dragged him out of the bosom of his family, dragged him away from the monarchy.
When the calendar flipped to January 2026, TV screens everywhere exploded with Piers Morgan's fiery critique, and the media couldn't look away. The very same Piers Morgan who famously lost his Good Morning Britain position rather than apologise to Meghan Markle is back in the public eye, louder, sharper, and more relentless than ever before. And this time, he wasn't just talking. He came armed with a mountain of evidence, timing that could not have been worse for Meghan, and the kind of insider knowledge that makes people sit up and take notice. Her brand new Netflix cooking series, Love Meghan, had just launched, polished, pretty, and carefully curated, and Piers swooped in like a hawk circling prey, tearing apart every scene, every image, and every staged moment on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Every laugh, every gesture, every camera angle was dissected in real time, and Piers made it clear this show wasn't just flawed, it was fundamentally unwatchable. He couldn't survive even 10 minutes before calling it out, labelling it the ultimate vanity project, and exposing the supposedly authentic moments as meticulously staged, carefully orchestrated, and clearly designed to sell an image rather than entertain or inform. What makes this attack hit so hard is the personal history. Piers isn't just a loud voice chasing clicks. He knew Meghan before she vanished into the royal bubble after meeting Prince Harry. That first-hand knowledge gives his words weight. When he says the photos reveal who Meghan truly is, the public listens. And this time, the spotlight is unforgiving. He's seen her in action. How she moves, how she crafts her image, how she manipulates the narrative, and that experience makes his critique cut deeper than any random media takedown could. This wasn't casual chatter. This was a calculated public takedown.
Because I had to leave my show, Good Morning Britain, you may remember, for casting doubt over the allegations of racism and the denial of treatment for mental health issues that Meghan Markle said she was denied by Buckingham Palace. Interestingly, in his 420-word page or so book, his own story,
broadcast for millions to witness, Meghan has spent years shaping her image, cultivating elegance and charm, and Piers dismantled it piece by piece. When the Netflix series dropped, Piers admitted he felt compelled to watch it, not because he wanted to, but because he already knew it would be comedy gold on his show. I tried watching it. Honestly, about 3-4 minutes, I was done, he said. That's all. Just minutes into the premiere, and he tapped out. In another clip, he claimed he powered through 10 minutes, but the point was clear. He didn't finish a single full episode. That alone sends a powerful signal about how rough, or staged, the show really is. Piers described the series as the ultimate vanity project, non-stop praise for Meghan, while she simultaneously hypes herself up. Every guest exists only to admire her. Every scene loops back to her supposed brilliance. Think about that for a second. A cooking show where the food isn't the focus, the recipes aren't the point, and viewers aren't learning skills. It's all about selling the Meghan brand, not culinary expertise, and Piers saw it instantly. The visuals drew his sharpest criticism. Meghan presents her Montecito estate as serene, cosy, and personal, but Piers exposed a critical truth. It's not even her home. The property was borrowed, shattering the authentic story she tried to sell. You can't claim warmth and love from a space that isn't yours. That one detail, he said, exposes the entire act. Every shot in the series is flawless. Professional-grade lighting, perfectly arranged angles, a kitchen that looks straight out of a magazine. She's making coffee, baking a simple cake, arranging flowers, but the camera lingers as if she's reinventing hospitality itself. Piers didn't hold back. She isn't teaching or entertaining. She's performing self-promotion. One of the most revealing moments came during an interaction with her friend, Mindy Kaling. Mindy casually mentioned that no one would believe Meghan ate at Jack in the Box. Innocent enough, right? Not for Meghan. She jumped in to correct her. It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know, I'm Sussex now. Not Meghan. Sussex. She demanded the royal-style title be used. Piers pounced instantly on this moment. I come from Sussex in England, he said. It's a county with millions of residents. Wanting to be called by a place name isn't normal. The contradiction is stark. Meghan and Harry left royal life claiming they wanted privacy and a normal life. But here she is, correcting a friend on air, insisting on a title, clinging to mystique and status. The camera captures her subtle expression.
What did you make of that, Jordan, to be suddenly appearing on Meghan Markle's podcast as a villain?
The first
who was
thing I make
calling
of it
women crazy.
is
A flicker of irritation at someone using her actual name, a small, unscripted detail that tells a story all on its own. This moment reveals everything about her mindset. The title isn't just a label, it's the vehicle that sustains the glamour, the allure, and the mystique. Without it, Piers points out, she's simply an actress married into fame. And that tension, the disconnect between claiming normalcy while demanding elevated status, is captured perfectly on film. It wasn't scripted, staged, or edited away. It's raw and permanent. From the very moment something is caught on camera, it's immortalized forever. And in Meghan Markle's case, that permanence has become a ticking time bomb she can't undo. Piers Morgan's criticism lands harder than almost anyone else's because this isn't just another loud media opinion. It's deeply personal, rooted in a history few people know. Morgan's connection to Meghan dates all the way back to 2016, years before she became royalty. They first connected over Twitter, with Meghan reaching out as a fan. Over time, they exchanged messages regularly, and Piers genuinely believed they were forming a real friendship, a connection built on mutual interest and charm. Eventually, that digital rapport became face-to-face. Piers recalls their meeting vividly. A casual pub in London, 2 hours of conversation, laughter, and the occasional clink of dirty martinis. Everything seemed warm, genuine, and effortless. That night ended with Piers helping Meghan into a cab that would take her to a party where she met Prince Harry for the first time. By the very next night, she and Harry had dinner together, but after that, Piers says he never heard from Meghan again. Silence, no explanation, no farewell, just a complete cut-off.
There they are. They're straight there, and I'm afraid I'm very cynical. I think it's purely for PR. It's purely for self-promotional reasons. They just want to be seen to be a rival royal family who are doing what the royals do, but they're not royals anymore. They don't do anything to earn the title.
Piers later admitted the sting of that abrupt ending. "I really liked her," he said. "And this is why it hurts. I just think she's a slight social climber, I'm afraid." That context is crucial, because when Piers critiques Meghan's Netflix show, every comment carries the weight of first-hand experience. He isn't some detached commentator. He's someone who witnessed her charm, her tactics, and how quickly connections can be discarded once they cease to serve her purpose. That's why his words cut so deeply. Meghan can't dismiss them as random attacks or baseless media hate. Piers saw behind the curtain long before most people even knew it existed.
By the way, is going to celebrate the joys of cooking, or at least something she's doing. Her Netflix show, I guess, is going to celebrate the joys of cooking, gardening, entertaining, and friendship, Piers. She's going to be teaching us how to be a good friend.
Well, as one of the many friends that she cut off.
Now, let's dive deeper into what Piers exposed about Love Meghan on Piers Morgan Uncensored. Calling it a vanity project isn't just opinion, it's an observation backed by years of seeing how Meghan works. The series exists for one purpose: to sell the Meghan Markle brand, or as he points out, the Sussex brand. Every scene is meticulously designed to paint her as flawless, adored, and important. Piers sums it up perfectly. It's all about people telling Meghan how great she is, while she simultaneously broadcasts her own greatness. That's not storytelling, it's self-promotion disguised as lifestyle content. On the surface, the photos and scenes appear polished and charming. Meghan laughing with friends, arranging flowers, cooking meals. But Piers urges viewers to look closer. Every image is perfectly staged. The lighting is impeccable, the angles precise, makeup flawless. These aren't casual, off-the-cuff moments. They are professional photo shoots dressed up to look like everyday life. Real cooking shows feature mess, mistakes, and spontaneity. Love Meghan has none of that. It's an Instagram-filtered version of reality, carefully choreographed to maintain an illusion of effortless sophistication. The context makes Piers' critique even more explosive. He's the same man who lost his job at Good Morning Britain because he refused to back down on Meghan during the fallout from the 2021 Oprah interview. Back then, Meghan claimed she had felt suicidal and alleged racist behaviour from members of the royal family. The very next morning, Piers said on air, "I don't believe a word she said, Meghan Markle. I wouldn't believe it if she read me a weather report." That statement caused chaos, triggering over 58,000 complaints, including a personal complaint from Meghan herself. The pressure culminated in his resignation hours later. Yet regulators later cleared him completely, confirming that his opinions were protected speech. That history amplifies the stakes of his latest critique. Piers has already paid a massive personal and professional price for speaking his truth about Meghan, which means he has nothing left to lose. That freedom makes his words sharp, fearless, and impossible to ignore. Now let's dissect the details Piers says most people miss when looking at the Netflix series photos. At first glance, the show appears cozy, elegant, and effortless, but a closer look reveals cracks in the illusion. First, the mansion. Every shot screams wealth, serenity, and luxurious lifestyle. But according to Piers, it's not even Meghan's home. She borrowed the Montecito estate specifically for filming, and that detail is critical. Meghan has built her public persona on authenticity, yet here she presents a staged world as her real life, a perfectly curated illusion designed for the camera. Next comes the styling. Hair flawless, makeup unblemished, outfits coordinated down to the last detail. Lighting at studio level. It's clear nothing is casual. Every flower arrangement, every countertop, every ingredient placement is picture perfect. In real kitchens, things spill, meals go wrong, and moments are messy and unscripted. Not here. Everything has been controlled, polished, and rehearsed, and Piers exposes each of these layers for the audience. Every meticulous choice reinforces the core message. This isn't cooking or lifestyle content, it's brand marketing. Piers's live analysis of these staged moments left viewers stunned. For millions watching, the critique revealed not just the illusion of the show, but also the pattern of Meghan's image construction, the attention to control, and the relentless effort to craft a public persona. Unlike other commentators, Piers speaks with authority, with first-hand experience, and with the context of personal cost behind him. That combination makes this takedown hard to dismiss and impossible to ignore. Long before the Netflix cameras ever rolled, Piers Morgan had already been sounding alarms about Meghan Markle's trajectory. And now, in January 2026, his warnings feel eerily prescient. This wasn't speculation or idle commentary. According to Piers, it was a consistent pattern he's been observing for years. What makes his critique so devastating is that he predicted much of this long before the world became enamored with Meghan. Back in 2016, when Meghan was still widely celebrated as the charming, ambitious starlet who would later marry into royalty, Piers publicly described her as a social climber. At the time, people tore into him, accusing him of bitterness, jealousy, or of lashing out because he had been personally cut off from her world. But history has a way of speaking louder than criticism. Meghan married Prince Harry, entered the royal fold, and simultaneously became more distant from friends and certain family members. Old friendships faded, Harry's relationship with his brother frayed, and the couple gradually detached themselves from their royal responsibilities. They moved to California, established themselves as a brand, and every step they took seemed carefully calculated for visibility, influence, and financial gain. According to Piers and insiders who track these moves closely, the very pattern Piers predicted unfolded almost exactly as he foresaw. Strategic relationships, image control, fame and money consistently taking precedence over personal ties and old connections. That's why, when he looks at these Netflix photos now and calls them staged or fake, he isn't theorizing. He feels validated. He sees proof that his early instincts were spot on. Some might wonder why it matters if Piers dislikes a cooking show, but this is far from a casual critique. Piers Morgan has an enormous platform, reaching millions of viewers across television and social media. When he didn't just critique the series, but openly admitted he couldn't even sit through it, calling it unwatchable and labeling it self-indulgent, it sent a strong signal. Netflix reportedly paid Meghan and Harry a massive sum for content, and the reception of this particular series could influence the longevity and value of future projects. Viewers might have tuned in casually, but the authority of someone who personally knew Meghan and walked away within 10 minutes changes the narrative dramatically. That's the exact scenario Meghan and her team never wanted. What makes his commentary even more piercing is the nature of the images he targeted. These weren't leaked candid shots or accidental behind-the-scenes photos. They were the official Netflix promotional images, The best moments handpicked by Meghan and her production team. Yet, Piers saw past the glamour immediately. He didn't see warmth or authenticity. He saw careful staging, performance, and the construction of a persona designed to appear relatable while existing within a borrowed mansion and surrounded by a professional crew. Take the coffee-making photo, for example. To the casual eye, it might look like a charming domestic moment. To Piers, it's someone turning a simple, everyday task into an exaggerated spectacle, a performance masquerading as authenticity. The same applies to the flower arrangement shots. What's supposed to exude creativity and elegance instead reads as carefully curated aesthetics, lacking spontaneity or real substance. Even the images featuring celebrity friends didn't escape his scrutiny. According to Piers, what others might perceive as social warmth or meaningful connection comes across as strategic name-dropping, carefully framed to reinforce the Sussex brand rather than convey genuine relationships. He points out that every promotional image follows the same formula. Nothing appears unplanned. Nothing feels genuine. Every frame is structured to sell an image rather than tell a story. Once Piers lays out his interpretation, it's almost impossible to look at those images the same way again. The illusion of effortlessness dissolves, leaving a highly manufactured persona that the average viewer may now question. Where does this leave Meghan in the public eye? Piers delivered one of his harshest critiques yet on live television, branding the show unwatchable, questioning the visuals, and challenging the authenticity of her carefully crafted image. Now Meghan faces a choice. Respond, risking amplifying the controversy and giving Piers more attention, or remain silent, letting his words linger and shape public perception. Either decision carries consequences. Millions have already heard him say he couldn't endure 10 minutes of her show. Millions have witnessed him dissect the authenticity, or lack thereof, behind the promotional images. That commentary does not fade quietly. Piers has positioned himself as a dominant, fearless voice, willing to speak openly while others remain cautious or constrained. He now runs Piers Morgan Uncensored, free from corporate oversight, network executives, or filters. Every new project, every interview, and every carefully staged photo release from Meghan and Harry could face the same sharp scrutiny. He isn't a fleeting critic, he's a permanent figure in this narrative. Critics might accuse Piers of obsession, and perhaps there's a kernel of truth. He hasn't let Meghan's story go, and he likely never will. Yet the reason his words resonate is simple. Many of the patterns he identified years ago have materialized exactly as he predicted. His observations on ambition, image prioritization, and the pursuit of status have been reinforced time and again. The Netflix cooking show and its meticulously curated photos are merely the latest evidence supporting his long-standing critique. That doesn't mean Meghan cannot recover. She has access to resources, platforms, and support networks that many do not. But one critical factor is damaged: trust. When someone who personally knew her, someone who once considered her a friend, publicly declares he couldn't watch even 10 minutes of her content, that skepticism sticks. Piers Morgan has gone all in. He dissected the show, challenged the promotional imagery, and confronted the narrative head-on. For many viewers, the illusion has been shattered, and once that happens, rebuilding it in the same form becomes nearly impossible. So if you've watched this, think carefully and weigh what you see. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this deep dive gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe and stay tuned. For more unfiltered, in-depth breakdowns like this, don't forget to like the video and share it with someone who needs to see the reality behind the carefully staged public image.